The Boston Tea Party. On the 16th of December 1773, a group of paramilitary patriots, who went by the name Sons of Liberty, boarded 3 ships carrying a precious cargo from the British East India Company. The cargo was dumped in the Boston River, leading to massive reactions and even helped kickstarting the American Revolution. After several days of planning and meetings with patriots from all over Boston and other towns in Massachusetts, the patriots were ready to execute their mission. The 3 ships that carried the cargo for the British East India Company were all moored at Griffin's Wharf in Boston Harbor. In the beginning, their plan was to make the 3 ships leave Boston without unloading their cargo. This was not possible as the Customs House, Lieutenant Governor, and Chief Justice would not grant the Patriots' demand for return of the ships to the British Isles. In the meantime, the paramilitary patriotic group, the Sons of Liberty, had planned a last option action against the British East India Company. After having their demands for return of the ships and their cargo declined, Samuel Adams, the leader of the patriotic meetings, gave a clear signal for the Sons of Liberty to perform their last option plan, which was to destroy the cargo. Dressed as Indians and armed with mohawks, the Sons of Liberty marched to the Griffin's Wharf on the 16th of December to destroy the cargo. Hundreds of patriots took part in the act, all dressed with the Indian dress to express themselves as pure Americans and no longer a part of the British monarchy. They boarded the ships and destroyed 340 crates of tea and dumped it all in the Boston Harbor, a cargo worth more than $1.7 million in today's currency. Even though there were thousands of witnesses, only 1 man was imprisoned, and no damage was dealt to the ships and no stealing occurred as the men marched onto the 3 ships. No taxation without representation. This quote was basically the whole idea of the Boston Tea Party. The tea that was transported to Boston came with a high tax percentage that had to be paid 20 days after arrival, or else the authorities would take the crates of tea. The tax money would go to the British and did not give the colonists in America any form of representation and rights in the Parliament. They wanted either representation in the Parliament or to become completely independent. The effects of the Boston Tea Party. As the news of the Boston Tea Party reached London, the British decided to shut down Boston Harbor as a penalty for destroying the 43 tons of tea. They also had to pay back the cost of the tea to the British East India Company. This is known as the Intolerable Acts of 1774, which consisted of several other laws. This act from the British only led to more protests and ideas of independence. The Intolerable Acts also led to the development of the First and the Second Continental Congress. Their mission was for the British government to repeal the Intolerable Acts. This was ignored by the British, of course. The Second Continental Congress was then formed. The Revolutionary War had begun between these 2 congresses, with the Second Continental Congress overseeing the war. The Boston Tea Party was the first act of rebelliousness from the American colonist side. The American Revolution was a direct effect of this act. Massachusetts was the colony where the revolution started and was the colony that the British had most control over, referring to the Massachusetts Government Act that made it a crown colony and the Administration of Justice Act that made it possible for British officials with serious crimes to take their trials in America or any other British colony.